Welcome to another episode of Everything's Dumb. My name is Kate.
I'm Victoria.
And today we will be talking about poor sleep, bad sleep, shit sleep, whatever you want to call it. If you're not good at sleeping, this is an episode for you. But first I want to talk a little bit about our neighborhood. We live in the North Hollywood area, and we live on the same street somehow.
Yeah.
It's not bad enough that we're best friends and have a podcast together. We actually have the same address.
Yes.
Because we're the same apartment number on the same street. So the only part of our address, in the same zip code.
Yeah.
The only part of our address that's different is the building number.
Yeah.
But we literally are twinning, even with our addresses.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. We get to do a lot of stuff. It's a really fun, walkable neighborhood, which is one of the reasons I wanted to move here is, although Los Angeles is not famous for its walkable neighborhoods, there are little pockets of really cool spots that you can find. I have not had a car for a few years now, and I walk to the bank, to the movies, to the post office, to bars, restaurants. Pretty much everything I ever wanted. My dentist is around the corner. Everything is very...
Oh, that's nice.
Very close by. There's not that many times that I need to, venture outside of my own neighborhood for things. And especially for entertainment, there's just so much to do around here.
Yeah, it's really nice living close by to bars and restaurants and stuff like that.
Yes.
Especially because we can go out, we can, walk to the bar, and then at the end of the night, you can just walk home.
Yes.
You'll be home in 3 minutes. You don't have to take an Uber. You don't have to drive and deal with parking.
Super handy.
Yeah.
Well, driving anywhere, I don't know. Maybe this is the alcoholic in me spiking, but anytime that you're driving somewhere, you're just resigning yourself to okay, I guess I'm not going to have as much fun tonight.
Right. Agreed.
Not just with, I'm going to have to spend the next 40 minutes of my life finding a parking space, but also I won't be able to drink.
Right.
Or I can have a drink and that's it. And then I just have to go home and then drink. But yeah, being able to walk to your favorite spots is one of the biggest life hacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of my favorite spots in the area, there's an arcade bar right next to us that is old school kind of retro arcade games. I know you love a Miss Pac-Man.
I do. I love Miss Pac-Man so much. And I like, I like Donkey Kong, but I'm horrible at it. I literally don't understand how to get past the second level, but I almost never even make it to the second level. I also like that Tapper game.
Oh my God.
It's where you serve beer.
There's a game there. It's literally has a Budweiser logo on the front of it.
Yeah,
it's back when
so old
beers and things used to make video games for children. I'm surprised there's not a Marlboro game in there or something.
Right.
But yeah, it's just this old school I like the 2D kind of old school, just X and Y
It's
axis.
pretty simple.
Yeah. I like that.
And it's cute. And then when he serves everyone and there are no customers left, he throws a beer over and then he kicks it with his heel and it's really cute.
It is very strange that they have that game right next to the bar, so you're there serving cosplaying as a bartender when there's a bartender literally 10 feet from you.
I know. It's amazing that I like it considering all of the we just recently talked about customer service, all of those jobs where I've had to serve people and it's been awful.
Yes. Although if the extent of customer service was just sliding beers down a bar at random patrons and then moving on to the next one immediately, it would be more like a game. It would be a lot more fun. But yeah, there's my advice is to find a place that you can live that is really near cool stuff. That's my thing about being a city girl. I have to be right next to the action and I have to have the ability to go out and do anything I want so that I can then have that knowledge when I stay home and don't go anywhere.
Right.
Watch Netflix.
Well, because you're not staying home feeling stuck.
Right.
You want to go out, but you can't because of the location or whatever. Yeah, you have the option to go out, but you choose to stay home. I choose
to order Uber Eats and watch Hulu all night.
Sounds nice.
But that's my choice. So, today's topic, insomnia, poor sleep.
I know it well.
Yes. Don't we all? I mean, I feel like part of living in a city is just you adjust to the city noises.
Well, if you're lucky.
If you can.
I somehow still haven't after 9.5 years.
You know that scene in My Cousin Vinny when he gets thrown into jail?
I've actually never seen My Cousin Vinny.
What?
I know.
Okay, never mind. There's this amazing part in My Cousin Vinny. This New York big city lawyer has to go out in the country and fight this case, and he can't sleep any night because there's like
it's so quiet.
Owls, or there's like a train, or there's something that like is constantly it's like quiet and silent, and then something wakes him up.
Yeah.
And then, spoiler alert, he gets thrown in jail for a night in contempt. And it's like the rowdy prison of the constant noise, and he's sleeping like a baby. It was like the only good night's sleep he got because he's just used to the constant noise of the city.
Yeah, I mean, like I discussed recently, I grew up way out in the country. Yeah. So the owls and the trains, because there was a train track a few miles from my house, but because there wasn't the noise of like other traffic and stuff like that, you could hear the train really clearly. So the sound of a train to me is like so soothing, and crickets and all of that sounds really nice. But yeah, living in the city, for me, it's tough. I mean, I've always had loud neighbors, and now in my current apartment, my neighbor next door sleeps right on the other side of the wall from my bed. So I can hear him snoring, and I can hear every time his phone vibrates during the night. So yeah, that's great. That's really fun.
You were speaking of crickets being soothing. Have you ever had a cricket
in
your apartment?
That is not as soothing. That is stressful. That is distracting. Yeah, because a lot of crickets is like white noise. One cricket is like Chinese water torture.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like when your smoke detector is out of batteries.
Oh my god.
Beep. Just every...
That's the worst.
I don't know what it's like every 7 minutes or something. It's like it's a long enough time that you're like, oh, maybe it stopped.
Yeah.
And then it just starts, oh man. Yeah. Having a cricket they always seem to go into your bedroom. Mm-hmm. And you don't realize it until you go to sleep or try to. So I did try to look up some of the history. I mean, not the history of sleep. That would be unable to be done. Humans have been sleeping for a long time. Every ancient civilization had at least one smart person that wrote or spoke or taught about the advantages and importance of sleep. Like the Romans were looking at it as like it's a rejuvenation. It's a time to rejuvenate your body. And then the Chinese put more of an importance on like balance, and it helps you maintain balance in your life because you need the time of sleep and the time awake, and it's all very well balanced out. In the 1950s, we started really studying sleep in the U.S. Like smart people here were discovering things like sleep apnea.
Oh yeah.
I don't need to give you guys names. You don't care. Sleep apnea, the melatonin hormone was a huge breakthrough, like finding the actual hormone that helps regulate your sleep.
Yeah.
So all that kind of stuff started happening. And then in 1970, the first sleep lab ever was opened at Stanford, where they actually were like studying people sleeping. And it caught on because 7 years later, they started popping up all over the U.S. and still exist today. Everyone knows the worst thing for going to sleep is your screens.
Yeah.
All of the screens that you watch, and the screens that keep you up, and the social media that is designed to keep you addicted. Please listen to the next episode. If you're going to listen to us before bed, I wonder about the type of nightmares you'll have, but also maybe just listen. Maybe just listen, or just put the YouTube on and put it somewhere where it's not playing visuals.
Yeah.
That could help. So years later now, sleep is a huge industry. We spend nearly $600 billion per year. That's including things like mattresses and pillows and sleep aid drugs and sleep trackers like your Fitbit or all that kind of stuff. That's $600 billion a year.
That is an insane amount of money.
Worldwide, which is why I'm happy to introduce the new Everything's Dumb branded sleep aid.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
Yeah, I did Google, like, what would be the easiest thing to sell as a sleep aid, and they suggested, like, tinctures, like something like that, or weighted blankets. But weighted blankets, I feel like the shipping of that would get expensive.
Yes.
the logistics of that.
I have a weighted blanket.
Oh, me too.
I love it.
Yes. Mandatory.
Yeah.
I sometimes wake up because mine has slid off of me, and as soon as I put it back on me, it's like an instant back to sleep.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Mouth tape, all that kind of stuff. There's so many different things.
Yeah, mouth
CPAP
tape is
machines.
Quite new, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, there's always room for more shit to be sold to people that can't sleep because we're too sleep deprived to say no. We're just gonna buy it.
Yeah. CPAP machines are like health.
That's for related. Sleep apnea, yeah.
Yeah, those are important. If you think you have sleep apnea, look into that.
Yes.
Because that can be quite dangerous to your health.
Insomnia can be deadly. Like you can die from not sleeping enough, which is
true.
Something I'm not going to get into because this is a lighthearted show. Yeah, for me, sleep is. I don't know if this sounds like I have clinical depression, but it's the best part of my day. Like I look forward. I'm so excited when I get to go to sleep at night. Like getting into bed, I get the biggest smile on my face because I'm so stoked that I finally get to go. Yeah. It's finally here. I get sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I have not been diagnosed with depression, but I am 1,000% confident that I have it. So yeah, going to bed is also my favorite time of day.
So I love going to sleep at night. I think my two favorite states to be in are warm and cozy.
Oh, okay.
And so like if I'm warm and I know I'm going to get under my weighted blanket. Yeah. I'm going to be on my bed, which is really comfortable. I'm going to get to lay there. I'm not a good napper either. Like I cannot take a nap during the day. I'm not good at that at all. So I look at sleep at night as like my one shot, my one opportunity. Like don't miss your chance to sleep. I don't know. But it's really like I have to like grab a hold of the chance that I might get to actually like fade off to sleep.
Yeah.
And I was talking with you about this recently, and you introduced me to a new term, something that I'd never heard of, called sleep pressure.
Oh yeah. My very smart sister told me about this. So sleep pressure is basically okay, I'm not as smart, so I'm going to use very basic words. The, like, buildup of tiredness that you feel throughout the day when you are extremely tired in the evening or at night. You know, you feel very drowsy and tired, and that's, like, the sleep pressure. And once you fall asleep, your brain is processing everything, and as you go through the night, the sleep pressure decreases, and then when you wake up in the morning, it's basically gone, which is why hopefully you wake up in the morning feeling refreshed and energized, and then throughout the day, again, your tiredness kind of builds up. So, I mean, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because it will motivate you to, like, when you're getting ready for bed, if you're, like, lying on the couch or if you're lying in bed and you're like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm just gonna sleep for, like, 10 minutes and then I'll get up and wash my face, or then I'll get up and, you know, feed the dog or turn the lights off or whatever. Do not do that.
Yeah.
Because your sleep pressure, even in those 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, your sleep pressure will decrease. Like, as long as you, as soon as you let yourself fall asleep, your sleep pressure, like, immediately decreases.
Right.
So if you sleep for 20 minutes and then get up to, like, lock the door and turn the lights off and get back in bed, it's going to take a lot longer to fall asleep the second time.
So does that mean it's a good thing that I'm not a napper?
Right. So I actually, there is no better feeling to me in the world than when I'm really tired, and in the afternoon it's like nice and quiet and cozy, and I can get under the covers and take a nap, and I like don't set an alarm, and I feel a little bit rebellious because like napping is not great for your sleep schedule. And I fall asleep and I'm like so cozy, and then I'm out like a light.
Yeah.
But the problem is I sleep for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like I never set an alarm. I wake up feeling like, what year is it? And then that night I can't fall asleep. So because of that, I like don't let myself nap anymore.
Yeah.
Because it completely messes up my sleep pressure. So if I force myself to stay awake until the nighttime, I just try to go to bed a little bit earlier than normal. Right. Not crazy early, because you will wake up in the middle of the night and then you'll be fucked for the next day. So try to, like, I'm obviously not an expert, but my opinion is, like, if you can try to force yourself to stay awake until at least, like, the early nighttime, yeah, you'll be so exhausted you'll fall asleep and hopefully sleep really well.
Yeah, I think maybe the dumbest version of a nap, in my opinion, is the one where you fall asleep and it's still light out, and then you wake up and it's dark.
And it's dark.
That I will never.
I mean, every time I nap, that's what happens.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Right, and then you wake up and I'm like, so I'm supposed to do something for 3 hours and then go back to bed.
This is another day.
Yeah,
we're in a new day.
Right,
but why is it a dark day? It's. I can't explain it to my brain, and I mean, I can't take naps just because I can't. It's very rare, I guess, that I'm that tired and don't have like something else I have to do.
Yeah.
Because maybe that would be the thing. Like if I was really tired in the afternoon and didn't have anything else to do for the rest of the day, I would probably just lay on the couch the whole time and like not expel a lot of energy, but I don't think I would like be asleep. I think I would just be resting until it was bedtime. But with a nap, it's only the only time that I ever try or have the opportunity, it seems, is when I have something to do in like 3 or 4 hours. And it's like, okay, I have a couple hours where like maybe I could take a nap because I really need to. And it's usually like some like stressful or super busy time where it's like, oh, I lost sleep because I was up really late doing this thing because I was trying to prepare for this thing that's happening tonight, but now here I am in the middle of the day. I woke up early because I was excited or nervous about this thing or stressed about whatever, and now I have a few hours. I can take advantage of a few hours of sleep, and then I just lay there and I cannot stop thinking about everything I have to do as soon as I get up.
Yeah.
Like I cannot shut my brain off and be like, okay, I can fall asleep for 2 hours, but then I have to get up and do X, Y, and Z. And then I keep thinking about like, well, when I do X, Y, and Z, maybe I can streamline it to make it a little bit less time. So then I can sleep in a little later. But then by the time I figured out how to streamline X, Y, and Z, it's half an hour has passed. Okay, so now I have an hour and a half. So I only have an hour and a half. And then if I just keep going at this, okay, so then when I get up in an hour and a half, I have to do this, and then I have to do this. Is there another way I could do that? And then an hour. Okay, so I only have an hour. So now I have
taking a nap causes you like more stress than it's worth.
Yep. And then I just laid there for 2 hours, and the whole time I'm like, I could have just done all these things.
Yeah.
And then been done with them, and then maybe I could have relaxed, but then I don't have time because then I have to go to this other thing. Not good at it. I'm really not good at it.
I'm sorry.
I need some kind of therapy or a podcast. Because, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at staying still, I don't think. I'm also not good at taking baths. Like, any time where I'm, like, stagnant, I'm just thinking about all the other things I should be doing at that time.
You might have a touch of the old anxiety.
Something. Or, I'd like to get my brain to shut off.
Okay.
If we could figure out how to do that by the end of this episode.
I mean, drugs?
Yeah.
Heroin is a thing that's available in LA.
Okay.
I'm just trying to help.
Okay. So my question for you, my co-host, and for you, the audience. There is a slideshow that I think everyone's brain does around 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
When you're trying to sleep. And it's like your mind comes to a fork in the road. And to the right is sleep. And to the left is every embarrassing thing I've ever done in my life. And for some reason, I always veer to the left. And it's just a slideshow of just fucking up in front of people, or having someone hand me a movie ticket stub and say, enjoy your movie, and me saying, you too. Like, it's just all of that on a loop for hours. And so I'm curious, what is one of the things in your slideshow? If you would share an embarrassing or stupid, it could be as little as that, as little as saying, enjoy your meal, you too, to a waiter. Like, anything like that. I'll go first.
Okay.
Because I have something that haunts me on a regular basis. This does go back, it is related to the last episode that I had a topic on, which was customer service. I used to work at Gap. I worked at a few different stores kind of around the country. They're one of those companies that really likes to save money on training their employees. So if you were trained at another store and you try to go to a different store, they will hire you if you have good recommendations. And I did, because I was an amazing employee, obviously.
Of course.
And so I worked at a few different Gaps. There was a period of time when I was moving to LA from Ventura, which is about an hour away from LA with no traffic, so 7 hours away from LA. And I was living in Ventura. I was trying to move to LA, and there was a Gap in the city of Thousand Oaks, which is about halfway between those two.
Right.
And I said, great, this will be a good little transition. I can drive a half an hour to and from work when I'm in Ventura, and then when I move to LA, same thing, half an hour to and from, so it won't be that big of a, inconvenience no matter when I move. I only worked there for like a few months, but I worked at the Gap in Thousand Oaks. And then when I moved to LA, I moved into the Valley and started working at the Gap in Sherman Oaks.
Okay.
Very similar name there.
Yep.
And I remember the Gap at Sherman Oaks had all of the different departments, one of which was Gap Body, which is the lingerie / activewear for women / sleepwear section. So like nobody ever goes in there. So it would always stick me in there because I was experienced, and it always had to be a woman because you had to do bra sizing and stuff like that, which I don't think I ever even had to do. You just had to have the option. So I was in Gap Body completely by myself, no customers, and the phone rang. And because I have no customers, obviously I'm going to be a good employee, answer the phone. So I answer the phone, Gap Thousand Oaks.
Oh.
And I hear on the other end, sorry, wrong number. And he hangs up, and I went, no. No. I'm not in the Gap in Thousand Oaks. And I can only imagine what this poor person on the other end of this phone call went through after I said that. Like, so instinct, Gap Thousand Oaks. It just rolled right out of my mouth before I could stop myself, and I didn't even realize I had said it until he said, sorry, wrong number, and hung up, and I went, I'm in Sherman Oaks.
Did they not call back?
No, because what I'm certain happened is that they looked at the two numbers.
Yeah.
In the phone book or wherever they were on Google and thought, well, if the Sherman Oaks number's for Thousand Oaks, I bet the Thousand Oaks. So they probably called the Gap in Thousand Oaks, and someone answered, went, Gap Thousand Oaks.
And they were like, I'm done with Gap today.
Poor person. I feel so bad. I sent them into such a spiral that day.
They probably thought they were going crazy.
Had no idea. Right. I gaslit this person unknowingly into thinking that they were calling the wrong establishment because I just stupidly answered the phone as a new employee and rattled off the first thing that came to my mouth when I was answering the phone at Gap, which was... Anyway, if you're watching or listening, that was you. I'm so sorry.
And that was 15 years ago?
I have never forgiven myself. That was in, 2014? Something like that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, about 10 or 11 years ago. So, I hope you found the number. Oh my God. You were right. You found the right number. I hope that you called back the next day and found someone competent to handle your question.
At least they were only calling Gap and not like trying to find the closest hospital.
Right, that's true. I mean, fashion emergencies happen.
That's fair. That's a good point.
Anyway, anything that you can think of that haunts you?
Well,
were you ever that stupid?
I actually have not thought of this in many years, and you've reminded me of it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. When I was in college, I interned at an art gallery, and
so fancy.
Yeah. So the owner, her name was Paige Bond, and so the gallery was called the Paige Bond Gallery. And when I answered the phone, I would say something along the lines of, Paige Bond Gallery, this is Victoria, how can I help you? Or something like that. And one day, and the other person I worked with was a woman named Kimberly, and she was very lovely. I really liked her. But one day she had stepped out, and so I was at the gallery by myself, and I was working on a project, but I was receiving a ton of phone calls from artists, and their management, and I was trying to get this project finished, and it was like a Friday afternoon, and I had another class I had to go to after my intern. It was just, I was very stressed. I was getting very flustered. I was getting so many phone calls, and then I was going back and forth between the phone and the computer, and then the phone rang for like the 19th time, and I picked it up, and I was like, hello? And on the other end, Paige Bond said,
no.
Hi, is this Victoria? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, hi Paige, I'm so sorry. How are you? How can I help you? And I was just like, that was the worst person to be on the other, and all day I had been answering the phone properly and professionally, and then that one time that I just panicked, and so I hadn't. Wow, that
you should just start answering the phone. Paige Bond Gallery. This is Victoria, just for yourself now.
Yeah, I can make up for it. Yeah, that was years ago. I forgot about that.
Well,
great. Now I'm gonna think about that
3 in the morning
constantly.
It's coming back.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Kate.
You're so welcome. I love to be of help.
Yeah, my face was bright red. I was so stressed. When she came in later, I was so embarrassed. I mean, it's not
Did you open the door and go, Paige Bond Gallery, this is Victoria?
Oh, I should have. That might have made her laugh. She was pretty nice, but she was like not overly friendly. So, when someone like that, who they don't really dish out compliments very often.
It's hard to read.
They're very hard to read.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that she disliked me, but in that moment, I was like, well, now she fucking hates me.
And now she has a right to.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I burned down her gallery. I just answered the phone incorrectly, but it was just...
There's still time.
Yeah. I mean, I can go back to Richmond.
All right, for our last segment, we are ending on free fun. Anytime that we have ideas or tips or things that people can do for free that is fun, or maybe even just like super low cost, we're going to try to keep it free though. And my first piece of advice is something that we do all the time. We go to a weekly trivia.
Yeah.
At a local bar, again, a place we can walk to.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the most fun part of my week. Like, it's so nice. First of all, it's something happening during the week, which is so helpful to not only have the weekend to look forward to. Like, I highly recommend getting yourself a Tuesday night or Wednesday night activity or something like that. I really like Tuesday nights because... that way, all of Monday, you're like, I just have to get through Monday. If I get through Monday, then it's Tuesday, and Tuesday's trivia night. Tuesday's going to be fun, and I don't have to worry about Tuesday.
Right.
And if you can just get through Monday, it really helps that, like, okay, then Tuesday's going to be fun, and then the rest of the week is just, like, getting ready for the weekend.
Right. Yeah.
So it really breaks up the week nicely, and, again, free to do. You just, I mean, if you find a place that does trivia, we've also done bingo, like...
yeah.
If you can find a fun bar that has drinks that you enjoy or prices that you like or bartenders that you like or people that you like, just start going. I've been going to trivia I was doing it before you moved up to North Hollywood, so it's been a few years now, and at first it was just like 2 or 3 of us.
Yeah.
And we just kept going every week, and it wasn't we never got anywhere close to winning, but it was just something that we enjoyed. It was actually a way for me to keep in touch with friends of mine after I left a job. And
did you go with Danny and
Margarita and Danny? Yeah, the first time.
So just the 3 of you?
Yeah.
Aww.
We actually didn't even plan it. We went to this bar that was right near where we all used to work, and which was, again, I worked near my apartment because I like to walk to everything. And so we went to this bar that was near our work. We had no idea it was trivia night. We were just there to get drinks or get a couple beers and like hang out and chat and talk about, everyone at the old job and what they're all doing, and then everything about my new job and all that kind of stuff. And it just turned into trivia started, and yeah, sure, let's play. And then we just kept going back, and now it's grown to a team of like anywhere from 6 to 8 people now come to this, and I've been able to bring friends from other jobs and other areas of my life together, and we've created this cool little group, and it's crazy to me that like how much it has grown just because we've kept doing it and kept at it. And we've been doing it for years now, but it's just one of the most fun parts of my week. And we pay for a beer or two, but you get a beer, it's not like you don't have to, for admission.
Right. You don't have to pay to play trivia.
Yes.
So whatever you pay for is a drink, and you can actually, I feel like you get something out of it.
Yes.
Like if you had to pay to play trivia and then you didn't win anything, I'd be like, well, I just spent, $10 or $20 for like kind of nothing. I mean, I guess you'd be paying for the entertainment.
Well, that's the thing. Like if you do spend money on a drink, you get a drink plus a trivia.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like it's better than either or in any
I'm not
situation.
Sure. I mean, I probably would go if you had to pay for it, but I think I'd be a little bit grumpy about it.
Yeah.
I love that it's free.
Yeah.
And I do always buy a beer. So.
Well, and most bars have this kind of thing set up where they will do like a trivia night or a bingo night or some kind of thing to bring people in for that reason, because they know that people, if it's fun, they'll stay and drink, and that's how they make money. And so if you can just find a spot near you somewhere that you enjoy going to, ask if they have any sort of activities or whatever. And if they don't, fucking offer to start it.
Yeah.
How hard is it? You get a little bingo kit.
Right.
Okay, now we're not into free. But if you could start something like that at a local bar, most places would be into it, because again, they'll get to see the benefits of it. And I think anything that helps you get out of your house and then make friends eventually. Like when we started going there, we didn't really talk to many other teams. Like everyone was nice and stuff, but if you're not the most extroverted person, just keep going back every week. People will recognize you. People will start to, oh, you were the person that had the whatever. Oh, you won last week. Like, you can grow your own little community as an adult if you just if you just keep showing up. You just have to keep showing up. And if you find something that you like, it's not a chore. It's something that you are enjoying going to do. And then in the process, you get to like make new friends and have all this new experiences for free.
Yeah, making friends as an adult is pretty challenging.
Impossible.
Right. It's so much easier when you're in school and you have classes with each other, or you're in college together, so you like live in the same dorm, or you're on like a sports team together. Yeah, as an adult, especially, everyone has like different jobs, and then they're so tired when they get home, and like even just keeping up with household chores in an apartment, like a tiny apartment, it's still a lot of work. So people are tired. So like you have to put a lot of effort into making friends, but something like a weekly trivia night, I mean, I was friends with you before I started going. I've only been going for like a year and a half, maybe. But yeah, I've become friends with Danny and a lot better. I mean, I barely knew Callie and Chelsea before they started coming. So yeah, I agree. I recommend finding something like that in your neighborhood if you can. Yep. It's a good time.
It is. I've never regretted going.
Yeah.
Like obviously certain weeks are better than others.
Yeah, even when you lose, it's fun. Yeah. It's fun to hang out with your friends and have a beer. It's obviously more fun if you win.
For sure.
Like, it's not as much fun if, like, every single question you're like, oh, I don't know.
Although, sometimes we do get to come up with fake answers. Yeah. Or try to just, if we can't come up with anything close to the right answer, we just try to make the person reading the answers out laugh. All right. We've come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, for rating and reviewing, hopefully, and subscribing and liking and all the other things that you're definitely going to go do now, because this was so much fun. Please come back for our next episode. We will be talking about applying for jobs in 2025. And I wrote, dun, 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 next to this.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be
it's not a good time.
Super fun episode. Really not any sarcasm involved.
Yeah. Or just feelings of, like, impending doom and possible homelessness.
Anyway, thank you so much. Please rate and review. Please subscribe. We will love you forever. If you do, follow us at Everything's Dumb Pod on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And if you have a dumb topic, something stupid that you want us to talk about, please let us know. Reach out through any of those platforms, and we might turn it into an episode one day.
Yeah.
And bitch about it.
We also have an email address in case you're trying to avoid social media,
yes,
which is everythingsdumbpod@gmail.com.
Yes. If you think that social media is dumb, you can reach out to us through email. And if you think email and social media are dumb, how are you listening to the podcast? Because we're only on YouTube and
well, if they're listening on
devices.
Well, is Spotify social media?
I mean, technically it is because you have a profile and you can share.
Oh, I guess it is. Huh. Okay.
Anyway.
The world is so mysterious.
I think that's it.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for listening and coming back again and again and making us your favorite podcast and telling all of your friends about us, because we didn't even ask you to do that.
I know.
That was so crazy.
So generous.
Wow. Thanks so much. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank
Love
you.
Stay safe out there. Bye.